Good morning, everybody, and warm welcome to this webcast with Crunchfish, which I have the honor of hosting. The company has just this morning published its full year report for 2021. And here to talk about the report is Joachim Samuelsson, CEO, and Joachim Nydemark, who is CEO of Crunchfish Gesture Interaction. So I will discuss with both of them on the report. My name, who is the moderator today, is Alf Riple. I work at Västra Hamnen Corporate Finance. I will talk to both of them. I have some questions prepared, but you can also ask questions. There's a chat function in the bottom of your screen. You can write your questions there, and we will put them forward to the company. As you may have heard from the beginning, this session is being recorded, and the recording is later to be found on Crunchfish homepage and on Västra Hamnen Corporate Finance channel on YouTube. So with that, I want to say good morning to you, Joachim and Joachim.
Thank you. Good morning.
Nice to see you. Now, I want to start off with the press release that you released yesterday afternoon and repeated in the report this morning that you have decided to take a write-down on Blippit. You write that holding down to zero. Now, what has brought about this decision?
Well, yeah, Blippit was something we developed in 2019. It's what I described that in our Q3 report. It's our second generation. It's an interaction thing that Blippit provides, sort of the interface between a mobile phone and a PC, which typically is a cash register in a shop, really. And we did set that up as a company together with Clearon, and in the Blippit board, we have decided that it doesn't make sense to have dedicated resources as we've had it. That was decided with the Blippit board, and that means that we had the auditor in our board meeting yesterday discussing what that means for our shareholding in Blippit, and we thought that we can't really then provide a strong sort of forecast because we are not going to work on it specifically. It's still a very good product, but it's an integral part, as we see it, as part of digital cash. But the auditor recommended us that then it's better that we actually take a write down. So we had prepared actually two scenarios, one where we didn't do one and one where we were doing a write down, and then we had to do a press release on it. So but the auditor recommended us let's do that. Let's take that write down, and that's what we did. So it's a bit of a conservative view, but I think it makes sense because we won't have specific resources dedicated to Blippit as we had sort of before. And then it's better actually to just do a write down of it. But the product works and it's still there. So if any opportunity comes up, I think it will come around. If digital cash is selling and someone wants an interface with digital cash with a cash register, I think it's a very vital product. But it is a peripheral thing to the overall architecture of digital cash right now.
And so that means that in the short run you won't have active sales resources trying to distribute the product. Okay.
Nope.
Good. You have talked about in the report this morning that one of the biggest achievements of 2021 was that you moved from products to platforms. Could you explain why this is so important for Crunchfish?
Well, we are active in two extremely dynamic industries. We're active in digital payments, and we're active in computer vision. Two industries that is moving really, really fast. And we believe that to be successful, you need to be extremely on your toes. You have to be fast, and you have to be very, very, very flexible. And I think we pride ourselves that we have been that in both those areas of digital cash as well as gesture. We are now into our fifth generation of product development. And this fifth generation has become platforms. And that is digital cash platform and is the Crunchfish skeleton platform in the gesture side. And it's that itself provides extreme flexibility. Before it's been us, in a way, in our development that has been very agile and we've always been responsive. But with a platform, you have such a more broad opportunity of what you can do with a platform. When you have a product, you have sort of zoomed it in, like Blip it as a product. It's for one use case only. That's what it is. And likewise, digital cash offline, if I stay at the digital cash, it was that you don't have internet connectivity as a user. And we solved for that. Now with a platform, we have, digital cash online, which means that the core banking could be down. We still have digital cash offline, so you could be offline, and we're adding this layer here that we are developing right now, which is for cars and wearables. And all of a sudden, we have a much broader opportunity to address customer needs than what we had before. So moving from products to platforms provides much more responsiveness to what comes up for us. And so I think we'll still be very responsive doing things development-wise, but we have also a platform for being extremely responsive. And I've talked a lot about that, how important that is for digital cash. And maybe you, Joachim, if I play in you, if you could talk about, moving from XR Skeleton as a product to the Crunchfish skeleton platform. What does that mean for Gesture? You answer that better than I do.
Yeah, sure. So XR Skeleton is sort of our, I would like to call it our flagship product. And we launched that almost 1 year ago. But what has happened during the development and now over last year is that we have got all the different parts in the whole process of developing this kind of software in place. So what we have is our in-house design neural networks. We have our in-house designed tools for annotation. We create our own data, both real data and synthetic data, and all of this sort of creates this platform and this opportunity to continue to build sort of new products and functions into the XR Skeleton. So XR Skeleton per se is targeting the augmented and virtual reality products. But what we have achieved here during last year, thanks to this platform, is to create a number of sort of new solutions and other solutions. So, for instance, we have not only sort of hand tracking and detection with a full skeleton of these 21 points that we have mentioned in the report. We have also added like body skeleton and combinations of hand and body skeleton. We have added more camera sensors to it. So RGB has been one, but we have also now the stereo setup of sensors. We have the infrared sensors and so on, and all of this again open up for even further development and fast development as well here moving forward, which is a huge benefit.
Thanks. I want to get back to digital cash. You have shown in various versions of how digital cash can deliver benefit to payment services. But has it ever occurred to you that Crunchfish could develop a payment service of your own?
Yeah, well, yeah, it has occurred to us, Alf, and that we can do that. And I think we can do it now. We can do it now when we have a digital cash platform, because it has a back end, digital cash online, and it has sort of the front end where you can have a balance then in the front end, and we can even have it on cards, as we have been discussing. But if we do that, we will be competing with in many markets. Take Sweden, that many people here I think are very aware of. Swish is such a strong brand. And even if we could then come up with a service which has some, I think, benefits over Swish, but the happy case that Swish is sort of working for an online payment service, I think it's sort of a household brand now. So why would we want to go and compete with Swish? Instead, what we have done, which is our kind of a unique thing, is that instead of becoming our own service, we want to complement. This is what we talk about with our digital cash benefits, because we can make Swish better. And likewise, we can make any payment service in the world better. And what's interesting with it is that banks, who are sort of the backbone of all sort of digital payments, really, this is where the money sits, really. They service many payment services, and we can now go and sell our additional benefits, digital cash benefits, to banks. because they want to improve on all their rails. This could be instant rails, it could be card rails, it could be crypto rails, it could be CBDC, it could be anything. They want to do that. So all of a sudden, instead of doing our own service, which would mean that we're going sort of, I don't know, Alf, if you're familiar with Red Sea and blue ocean sort of strategy, we're swimming in the blue ocean by doing it this way, because we really don't have much competition on what we do. In parts we may have it, but not really. Instead of, if we do our own, we will go straight into the Red Sea with cutthroat competition, and it's so much more fun. We are a bit of a, the fish is swimming in the blue ocean, and I tend to keep it there as long as I can, because that's just it's less competitive, and it's the scalability is just fantastic.
That makes sense. Now, you have also highlighted that digital cash online will help to accelerate your overall marketing rollout in digital cash. Could you explain how that's expected to work?
Well, yeah, it's back in a way to banks again. When we only had digital cash offline as a product, it wasn't really a suitable product for banks, because a bank, well, if I start with, I take a step back. A digital cash offline product is really suitable for a payment service, like Swish could have it, because they have you have it Swish on the payer side, and they have also an endpoint where the receiver sits that also links to Swish, and we can work with Swish and put it in their backend. So it's a digital cash offline. If we only have that, it's sort of we sort of have to go to rather the payment services. With digital cash online as well, that we complement with, it becomes quite natural to us to actually go to banks, because the banks could just put in digital cash online as the touch point between their core banking system, where you, Alf, have your transactional account. They will provide a digital cash online sort of, it's not really a mirroring, but you can reserve out money. Either banks does it automatically in the background for you, or you could decide on it yourself, that you put some money aside that you can use for digital cash online. But we hang the entire structure underneath that with offline and for cars and wearables. But the beauty of what we have now is that we can just go to one counterparty. We're talking to huge banks in India at the moment, and we are far in those discussions. And they don't have to talk to the payment services. They don't have to talk to Visa, MasterCard, or MPCI who deliver UPI for improving these payment services. The banks can do it themselves. So we have one party we talk to, and we can just roll it out. That's an enormous advantage, instead of having to, like in Swish case, if we're back to Sweden, yeah, we can do it with Swish, they like it, but we still have to then go to all their member banks and see, how do you feel about this? Now we can just go straight to the banks, one party, deliver online, and then start improving with our benefits on all their payment services. So rollout-wise, it's such a fantastic sort of less complicated sale, and we feel that when we talk to sort of the banks that we are talking to, that they see the benefits and they like it, and yeah, we're getting closer every day to this announcement that everybody's waiting for, that wow, we're gonna go live with digital cash.
And that brings me to the business model, or how you're going to monetize on it from Crunchfish side. You have explained in the past. You explained that the offline solution is based on a prescription service where you have these root certificates, and you expect to have recurring payments for keeping those permits or licenses active. How about the online side? How is that supposed to work?
Well, it will actually be a combination, and we are already now verifying this business model with the banks, and they are telling us, in a way, guiding us what they want, and we like what they want, because it's sort of a little bit how they would pay for payment services coming from switches. And the way that that's typically set up is that you sign a multi-year contract, could be 3 to 5 years. I think 5 will probably be a bit much for us to ask for, because we are sort of new. But 1 is too short for the banks as well, because it will take some time. But 3 years would probably be appropriate. And they will pay a license fee for 3 years. And what that includes? Well, they want us to take full responsibility for first line support. That would be on-premise at the bank, our people at the bank, Second line support in the same time zone probably will be India, where we'll have a national sort of second line support. And then there will be third line support, and that will be us in Sweden. But they want maintenance, sort of upgrades for if we come with that. They want customization here initially, and they want that whole package. They want that to be sort of like a license fee. They like it also, and that's customary, that we would include maybe, say, 1 million transactions is included in that license fee that they pay for. So that they will pay for. But over and above 1 million transactions, or it could be 10 million transactions, I don't know. But there will be some sort of fee that we charge them for a 3-year contract. Maybe, I don't know, it might be that we split it up, that we charge, or at least we will account for it a third every year. I don't know cash flow wise if they will pay straight up for 3 years. Maybe we'll have a third at a time. But any additional transaction that we will do, they will pay per transaction. So anything that hits Digital Cash online will be sort of paid separately. Over and above that, whatever they signed up for in their license fee. And very much the same model, if they start having then offline payments as well, it will be the same sort of team that does sort of support, and we will have customization, and there will be a one lump sum, a license fee, which allows them then for a couple of years then to have or 3 years then to have our services. But for offline, as you said, Alf, we add, similar as the card service, we will charge something. I think in your model, you're thinking that we could probably charge 50 krona per year. That's in your analysis that we went through at the webinar. And I think that's probably right. And the bank might they might charge 100. So the bank might just make just as much money as we do, charging their customers subscription based per year. But they will probably buy, a lump sum of us of subscribers, active subscribers, and then they pay extra for every single one that we do. And one thing that I think is kind of interesting, I think your model you had in the webinar your equity analysis of it, you had 50 million users. Some of the banks we are talking to right now, they have 200-300 million users. So what you have as our full capacity 2030, we can have it with the first customer, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see that. Is there any, do you know of any reference point? I mean, if I'm going to sit down and trying to calculate how much money you will make from a customer who pays for, let's say, 10 million transactions in a year. I mean,
I think the reference, yeah, I know. The reference point is the switching companies, and we have got guidance because we are talking to switching companies because right now what we want to do, we're talking to the banks, some of the key banks that we want to have as our customers. When we get them, what I want to do is not ourselves go to every single bank in India and the world, but we want to go one step back to talk to maybe switching companies. They could be networks like Visa, MasterCard, China UnionPay. People who sell into banks. Those are the ones that I want as my partners because they have already salespeople addressing the banks. And I think the model of the switching companies, this is the Mindgate in India, ACI Worldwide, FIS, Finastra. The way they go and charge for their kind of services, Tieto Every is sort of the one we have here in the Nordic. The way they work and the way they charge the banks, which is very similar to what I just described, that is the model. And there we can get some guidance of what do they charge for routing sort of the money between your account and the payment rails, even incoming or outgoing. And that's basically the model that we mimic on. So Digital Cash Online is mimic on the switching companies, which the banks are very familiar with. And Digital Cash Offline is mimic on the card services, how that is charged for. And so I think we are going for standard models. The banks likes that. They are used to it, and they see no problem in that.
I see. Can you just briefly sum up how the reception in the market has been so far for Digital Cash, and where would you expect to get your first order from?
Well, if I take a sort of a little bit of a, go back in time, we launched Digital Cash Offline July last year. Digital Cash Offline as a product was launched in July, and this is where we are using our partner Viki from Singapore to sort of have that secure environment. And I really recommend the webinar tomorrow where the global head of sales for Viki is talking about their components and how we work with them in Southeast Asia. But we felt as that this product is sort of a little bit slow to sell into the market. Given that we couldn't go to banks, we had to go to payment services, and we concentrated on the ones that were like a closed loop system. We have those coming now, and we're working with them, but it's going a bit too slow for my taste. So that's why we came in the Q3 report in November here and said that we need to rethink. And we came with a platform, Digital Cash Online as well. Now with that, which we said was available in December, which is not, we're just talking about 8 weeks ago, the reception has been fantastic. And because we solve real life problems, strategic real life problems for the banks. If we take Sweden, our financial regulators are telling the banks, you need to stabilize Swish. Well, I don't know if they have a plan really how to do that, but I think we are the solution. In India, the volumes are so, big. Right now, they're doing 5 billion transactions per month on UPI, and they're planning for 1 billion a day. So 30, that's what their core banking won't cope. They need a design change. I think we are that change. So that's the cool thing here, really. And the banks, they like what they hear. And that's the exciting thing here, because we have the online transaction base, and it's huge volumes just in India. And then you hang sort of the subscription model with the digital cash offline underneath it. So I'm super psyched that this will be so fun. But I think what the market has to understand is that we're talking to huge organizations. Some of the banks we're talking to have more market cap than all the Swedish banks together. It doesn't move sort of 8 weeks from a launch of a product to that they, we have gone through all the sort of layers that we have to go through. But we are at the top level talking to those banks, and they're excited. But then, so things are coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, as I said, we are talking to the ones who sell into banks, and they're excited as well, because they will have with digital cash an additional thing to sell into the banks that strengthen their offering to the banks. So we can scale very quickly if we just get this going, and it's every day we get one day closer. We're not going backwards, we're going forward all the time.
Great to hear. I want to move on to Gesture now. I just want to remind everybody in the audience that you can ask questions as well. There's a chat function in the bottom of your screen. If you write a question there, I will read them out, and we can hear what Nydemark or Samuelsson has to say about the issues. But I want to get back to Gesture, as I said, and you touched upon it before in the previous question, Joachim, Nydemark. But in 2021, you made some big steps forward. Could you just elaborate a little bit more on what why it is so important for your business that the developments that you made with the skeleton platform?
Yeah, so it creates the flexibility and the way to be agile and versatile in this business. So in order for us to grow both quickly within sort of new product and business areas, new use cases, it's also about strengthening the current use cases that we already had. So the stereo is one example of that, where we have in our previous solution, we had a solution or an exoskeleton for RGB. Now we have extended that to also support stereo, which gives sort of both the possibility to have sort of the exact depth information of the hand, but also it is what we will believe will be required when we enter into, for instance, consumer AR products. So to summarize, flexibility and open up possibilities for our business, basically.
And just for the idiots among us, when you say stereo, it's the idea that you have two cameras and you overlay the two images on top of each other, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can compare it to the human eyes. So you have two eyes and they are slightly separated, and that is because it gives you sort of this 3D information, if you like, and that is what is needed. That information is needed to fully get the immersiveness in augmented reality.
I see. And also you have talked about this proof of concept project that you have with an automotive partner, and it sounds interesting. What was developed in this project, and how does you think it will lead to more business opportunities in the future?
Yeah, so we are in general very excited of the automotive opportunities as such, and this proof of concept is sort of a very important step towards that business sector. What we have built in this proof of concept is a demo that shows sort of the capabilities of a solution, including both our skeleton technology, but also sort of technology from our partner. And basically what we meet with this concept is the requirements from the automotive industry on what is called DMS and OMS, so it's driver monitoring system and occupant monitoring system. So basically, there will be requirements on car manufacturers to support this kind of ways of having, for safety reason, surveillance in a way of the driver and the passenger. Maybe not surveillance per se, but keeping track of, for instance, does the driver have his hands or her hands on the steering wheel? Is there a mobile phone in the hand? Are there dogs in the car? And all of these different parts gives you a view of how safe this vehicle is at the moment, and you can then have warning signals and so on based on that. So that is basically what we have achieved so far.
And is that supposed to work using one camera or several cameras within the car? Do you have gone so far so you can say things like that?
Yeah, probably it will be several cameras in cars, especially to be able to keep track on the backseat passengers fully as well. But initially, we're talking about the camera in the rear mirror in order to get the information about the front seat passenger and driver.
Okay, thanks. And you just recently received your 12th patent within gesture. What makes this patent more interesting than the others?
Yeah, so we are excited about this patent because it's right down the alley of augmented reality and virtual reality. So in essence, what this patent protects is the ability to scramble or change the order of, for instance, numbers or letters in a keyboard when you want to type a PIN code or a password. So imagine that you have this augmented reality glasses on, then you have like a virtual screen with a PIN code. And if you have the numbers arranged in the same way as usually is the case, people around you will probably see the pattern how you type these numbers. But in order to solve that problem, you can rearrange the numbers. You can still have the same PIN code, but you can rearrange the numbers, and then you will be protected from potential fraud and stuff in that context. So that is what this patent is all about.
I see. And you have signed a pretty big contract with your sister company, Digital Cash. And why is your latest patent and your gesture control interesting for Digital Cash? I don't know if who you want to answer that between you.
Well, I can say Joachim, because I think me and Patrick here, I know you had to negotiate hard with the very tough negotiator Patrick Lindeberg, CEO from the Digital Cash side. But it's really, everybody knows what's the drill when you come to a car terminal. You have to put in a PIN. and you would do that on your phone as well to unlock. And digital cash, if you think of it, you're going to do transactions on your phone. So you need to unlock things, you need to authorize things. And if we move a little bit into the future here, that as Apple say, that augmented reality, AR glasses will be sort of the norm, then you will pay from your glasses, obviously. So that would be a lot of transactions, like where you unlock things, the device itself, but also then to authorize a payment. And we wanted to make sure that that other sister company has that available to us, because authenticating a payment with a PIN or something, or anytime we touch basically our digital cash environment, our trusted application we run there, we need to sort of sign into that. It could be by biometrics, but certainly also with the PIN. So we decided to sort of buy that. We haven't press released it, but we put it in the report. The reason for not press releasing is that it's completely irrelevant on a sort of corporate level, because it's all will be what's it called? It will be sort of balanced out, because there is one buying and one selling, and so that's why we didn't put it in a press release. But Joachim, he writes about it, that there is a sale to digital cash in this, that we have done it, and I think it's important because I think we are making sure that this is something which is linking the two business areas, and I think then it's good that digital cash is paying for that. That's having that opportunity. It's sort of a perpetual license, and we've charged it similarly as we would if this would be a sort of a third party buying it. Really, I think that's what they negotiated, Joachim and Patrick, really here.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Nydemark?
No, I think that was extensive and very good. So thanks.
Right, I have received one question from the audience. That's on digital cash. I would just want to have one more question first on Gesture, and that is if you could look into the future, Nydemark, and say what would you expect the business focus for Gesture Interaction to be?
Yeah, so since I would say 4 or 5 years, we have had a full attention on augmented and virtual reality, where augmented reality glasses for the main market, the end users, is sort of the key for us, and we still have that space for sure. So and that includes also the virtual reality, and we strongly believe in that area. Still, the volumes are low, but we are following it. We have sort of relationships ongoing with main actors in this space, and we see that we are well positioned when sort of these products really hit the market and start to bring volumes. And there are a lot of initiatives in this space. If you look at what Facebook and others Meta is doing nowadays in this space, there are products sort of they are looking at, and they have started to launch a few, not fully augmented reality maybe, but we are definitely getting there. So that is what we foresee coming. But then we also have this automotive that we are very excited about, and I think the difference between sort of the augmented reality and automotive is that automotive is sort of coming with regulations on and requirements on this kind of functionality. So there is a must-have for this industry of our technology, and that is sort of definitely driving sort of our attention to that market space, as something we drive pretty hard at the moment as well, not the least shown by this proof of concept lately.
Okay, great, thanks. Yes, as I said, I have received one question from the audience. All of you in the audience, you are very welcome to ask questions, and please use the chat function if you have something you're wondering about. This question is, the market was very enthusiastic in 2021 on the digital cash offline offering, looking at the share price, not least. Now the market is more cautious. Joachim, it seems you are now very excited about the digital cash platform. What do you tell the skeptics who think this year won't be different to last year in terms of progress?
Well, yeah, third time lucky. I don't know. Well, no, but I was excited about Blipit, and it had its scope. People who have been with us for a long time, that's what we had in 2019. I thought that was a great thing. It turned out to be didn't be a big thing. Digital cash offline, I was excited, and you're right. I think a lot of the share price was inflated by people who are buying our shares for issuing turbo warrants. I'll talk about that in our webinar, but certainly I think there were excitements, and we were as well. But then we felt it was sort of a bit slow in the market, just like we felt with Blipit. But now with digital cash platform, why is it different now? Well, first of all, Blipit is still there, as I said. Digital cash offline is still there, but we have just expanded the scope. Right now, I think the scope is for everything. I think this is a product for every bank, for every payment service, for every central bank. That's what we have now. So now the scope can't really be much larger when it comes to digital payments. That's what we reach now. So the scope is just fantastically broad. And what's exciting right now, I think, is sort of the dialogues that we have now in the markets, and we are talking to the banks directly, and they don't have to talk to anyone else really. They don't have to talk to Visa, as I said, if they want to improve their responsiveness for doing sort of responding to card payments in that rail. They don't have to talk to Swish, a bank, if they want to. They can do it themselves in order to just stabilize their own operations. That I think is, the reception we have is sort of very, very promising. And so I guess we are further along. We still have Blipit, we still have offline, but now we have a whole platform. So if I look at what has happened this year, as I said, we moved from product to platform, and platforms are much more versatile, much more broader focus. We got patents that we didn't have that a year ago. I think that's fantastic as well. So we're seeing patents. We've sort of have one sort of on offline payments, and another one which was our original patent that with this modification we did, we now have a positive report on patentability. That's also great, and we are already talking to partners who are selling into banks, and they're excited about what we have. So and that means that I think we're simply further along. And things are looking good. I am psyched, as you can tell. But I was psyched with Blipit. I was psyched with offline as well. But I think that is the strength of Crunchfish, and that's why we're using this Darwin, that the winner will be the ones who are most responsive to change. We are working in an extremely fast-moving industries, and you have to be very, very fast, very responsive. We are that. We have already proven that, being in our 5th generation, but also now having platforms means that whatever the bank sort of is asking for, whatever facets of digital payments they want, we can probably deliver that. Whatever improvement, whatever benefits they need to do, we have that now in our platform offering. Before we were more niche of a product, now we have a much broader. So it is a different game, but again, I'm not sort of the ones that are looking for it. I don't care really if we are in our share price is 50 or 20 or 70. This is not the levels we're going to be. If we make it here with the potential that we have, we're going to leave these areas forever behind us and be at completely different areas. So the short-term share price, I'm not optimizing for that. I'm optimizing for actually taking over the world when it comes to digital payments. This is what we're saying to the banks. We are the future of payments. That's what we have.
That makes sense. Another question from the audience here. Is there any progress with e-currency or other CBDC providers?
Well, yeah, e-currency is actually doing well in Jamaica. They won that, and that's actually one of the projects that has come furthest in the world. And they're working their way. They're providing initially here a platform for the Bank of Jamaica to issue sort of digital currency, and they are right now in a project of adding more and more banks that come into the ecosystem, and they are trying it out. They're going to have what's called a scale-up phase, where they're adding more banks, and then they're also adding more features. Offline is certainly on the table. E-currency doesn't have an offline offering, and we are their partners, but it hasn't really. They're working their way through the requirements list and adding more and more banks to their sort of service. And at some point we will come in. We are in dialogue with them, but it's been you know, we haven't, we're not pushing because right now I think the project is not yet going for offline, and this is where we're coming in very strongly with the e-currency. You know, but we're quite busy anyway, you know, with our focus on India. So we're not calling them every day, if I say so, because we feel that well, we are here when they need us. You know, we'll pick up the phone, but we're not pushing them because I think the market is not there yet for them in their project. But they've come far if I look at internationally where people are on CBDC projects.
Great, thanks. Let's say I just got another question here. In November, you mentioned negotiations with one top payment provider at the proof of concept stage. Is that one still progressing? And have you added further late stage discussions? Still mainly one discussion?
Well, we have.
There's more here. There's more. Also
okay,
related. Do you see further delays in the timeline in terms of commercial agreements, or do you see an acceleration from here?
I see acceleration as that's one of our. If you read our report, which I recommend, because I think that's what we always do in the quarterly report to really give you the best overview picture of where we are, and all this. That's what you're asking here is all answered. But digital cash online provides huge acceleration for us. But the projects that we had in November, which was obviously just digital cash offline, because we were just coming with online at that point, they're still going, and we are right now in sort of integration and working to get the product together. And these are with huge sort of payment services in India. And we have added also one in as we have said already then in Southeast Asia. Another, not in India, but another one that we are working with as well, and that's for mainly focus on the offline. But now with digital cash online, as we have as well, we are adding it. We can more easily go to market because we go to banks and then they start with digital cash online, and then we start hanging on to that offline, and then as I said, also these cards and wearables. So there is an acceleration. Everything that we had is still there, but it's going a little bit slowly with the offline. But we just have to. It just takes time with these things because it's complicated. It's payments and its security is high and all that. But with online, adding that to the whole mix, things are accelerating, and that's sort of one of the chapters that we have in our digital cash section, explaining why that is so.
But if we go back to the root of this question here, was referred to one particular negotiation that you had with a proof of concept partner, and whether that is still progressing, and if you have added more similar.
Yeah, we have. As I said, that one is progressing. It's come quite far. And we are in, I think right now we're going to present it, the one we're working with them. So we will be at the final stage actually in March. I think it's the 18th of March is where we're talking to their sort of top management about, or their sort of product management about this, what we've done. So we are in late stage sort of proof of concept type of work, and then it will be rolled out during Q3, Q4, and then it's looking good. And we've added another one in Southeast Asia as well that we also had already at the Q3 report. If you read that carefully, you will find that we had reference to that, and it's still alive and still kicking, and they are excited and they want to move on as well. But it's just, it takes a little bit of time. But what I'm looking for is acceleration, speed, scalability, and that's what we have added when having a platform now when online on top, which is very important for us. But everything's still there. We haven't lost anything.
All right. I think we have come close to the end here. I just want to round off that with saying that now we are putting 2021 behind us, so we're looking forward into 2022. In what sense do you think Crunchfish is a better company in 2022 than before?
Yeah, as I said, main thing, we've gone from products to platform. We have more patents. Gesture side, I think that was a huge win with the 12th one we got, but also we got our 2 first ones on the digital cash side, which is very promising for the rest of the portfolio as well. And our customers, being now banks, are excited. It's an easier sell, and we're talking to partners that are selling into bank, and they're excited as well. So I think it's just we just moved a lot, a huge sort of, and you know, things are looking good. I'm not really worried. I think it's just I can understand people who are frustrated that it takes time, but come on, I'm thinking we came up with Digital Cash Online in December. How fast do you think it will be talking to these big organizations? I think 2 months is not a long time in this scale of things, but we're going for the whole world. So just, you know, hang in there. That's what we do. I'm quite happy about it. And the money is, you know, we have the money. We will fill up our sort of cash in December with these warrants that we have. So things are absolutely fine in terms of, as you have said many times, Alf, in your reports, that the company probably don't need any more money. So I think that's fine. We have all that. So now it's just to craft a strategy to conquer the world, and that's what we do. So it's going to be fun.
It sounds very exciting. It's going to be interesting to watch you do it. With that, I think we have reached the end of this session. So I want to thank you, Joachim Samuelsson, Joakim Nydemark, and everybody who's been listening. And I hope to see you again after your next quarterly report.
Thanks, Alf.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.